The roses all start out in different colors.
Wifey's Joseph's coat rose plant is really doing nice this year. Look at here.
It sure is.
Is that pretty or what?
There.
Let me make sure I get some
Look at
clarity
that
here. Maybe I
thing.
can even zoom in a little bit. Look at that. Boy, that's... And this one here, look at this. This is orange and peach.
Okay.
Boy, that's... Yeah, was it yellow and peach?
Yellow and peach.
Yeah, and then we got this one right here.
And then there's one over there that's absolutely pink.
Yeah, look at these.
Pink
It's
and
called
yellow.
Joseph's Coat Rose Bush.
These
These are the biggest I've seen. Normally they were pretty small. Here's one fixing to bud out. That looks really nice too. What do you think about all this, Grandma?
Oh, I think it's great.
It's great. You like that, don't you?
Look at that.
Look at this one. Yeah, boy.
Hey, look at that.
It's going to be popping out here in a second.
And there's three
Some
or
beauties.
four.
Real beauties. Nothing like the Joseph's Coat. Where did you remember where you got this bush?
No, Marilyn gave it to me.
Your sister gave it to you, huh? I wonder where she got it. Boy, that thing
Got
there.
her one and me one for my birthday one year.
That's really pretty there.
Is that thing cute?
Cool.
And here's
There's another one. Buried way down underneath there. Yes, pretty.
And if there's this yellow one, they're covered with rosebuds this year.
I like to look down inside of them. They really look neat down in there. It is time for Mr. Treeface to wake up. He's been sleeping all winter. It's time for him to open his eyes and meet the world again. His hibernation period is done. Well, there's part one. And there's part two. And there he is. I don't think he looks too happy about being awoken from his winter slumber. And as usual, we have another bird's nest in the back of our shed where they always set up where I store my my oil filter tools. It's kind of interesting how they do that. I don't know what kind it is. Looks like a wren or something like that. And there's some eggs in that nest. Let's see if I can film a couple. I'll come in just a tad. I can't see, but I'm just going to kind of put the camera up there and hopefully you guys can make it out. Well, I'm still working on the old weed eater, and I got the carburetor off. I think what I'm going to find is, I think if I remove the screws here to the squeeze bulb, to the fuel bulb here, or the primer bulb, I guess bulb is what you call it, and I remove this flange that holds it on, I think I'll find a couple other screws underneath. The idea here is to remove this thick part right here as well, and I think I'm going to find a screen underneath there that might be clogged. I know I've done this once before, maybe twice, way back when I was having problems with a chainsaw that kept running, that would kept shutting down after it started. Turned out to be that screen clogged up on those chainsaws. So let me see if it's under there. If not, we'll just put it back together and look at something else. No biggie. Alright, I got the screws out. Looks like the whole assembly is going to lift off. Yeah, it is. That looks kind of neat. Got a little blue thing in there. A little overcast today. Oh my goodness. Look at that. I think that's clogged. It sure looks it to me. Let me get down in there. See if I can get a little more light shining on it. I can't see very well here today. Can't get a light down in there, but boy, I'll tell you what, that thing is definitely clogged. Let me go ahead and get some, I have some brake cleaner. I'm going to spray that baby out. Here's a better view. Man, look at that thing. That thing is totally clogged. Get way down in there. Amazing, isn't it? How that stuff gets in there is beyond me. Look at that screen now. That's what she should have looked like. Nice and shiny. Nice and clear. Alright, I gave it a good squirt all the way around with some of this brake cleaner. That does a really good job for cleaning carburetors and evaporates fairly fast. And then I lightly, very lightly blew out all the holes with a can of air. Now you don't go full bore with the air, okay? There's little gaskets down inside this thing that can blow if you put too much air. This gasket being one of them, okay? Be very careful. It's just kind of a, you know, shh, like that. Nice and easy. Don't, yeah, and I shot down inside each of these little holes you see here. Very easy, like up inside the throat. And I'm going to go ahead and put new gas lines on it. I don't like these. They're old as the hills. They're stiff. And interestingly enough, there were 2 filters in the gas tank. I don't know why. Someone apparently, when they put this thing, this is a brand new weed eater. I never messed with it before, but see, there's the second one. This one was cleaner than this one, so we're going to get rid of this one and go ahead and use this one. And I don't know, the bulb looks, the pump bulb looks pretty good. I don't think I need to buy a new one of those. We'll let that ride. All I'm going to do is put on some new lines, put it back together, and see what happens. It should work fine now, but I can't adjust the idle or anything until until it starts to run. That's my problem. Time for a little update on our Alyssa Craig onions. As you can see, they're all growing except for these 3. 1, 2, 3. But don't ask me why that happens. You know, it's really strange. Well, what do we do about that? Well, we replant. Yes, we do. I'm going to stick 2 more seeds in each one and let her rip. All done. I just keep a little swab stick in here to dig around with in case I need to do it again. Now we'll stick it back and see what happens. Put the top back on. Hopefully, I think in a couple of days I'm going to be able to just remove this top completely. Get it out here in the sun a little bit. But of course we're supposed to have rain. Yeah. Well, once again we're running into radish growing problems. Unbelievable. The leaves are turning a yellow. And so I looked it up on the internet to find out exactly what the problem is. Or to come up with a few ideas. Look at that yellow one right there. My God, that thing's bright yellow. If I didn't know better, it'd be a flower. They said insufficient nutrients. Well, that's not true. I did a really good fertilizing, and I used humus and cow manure, stuff like that. They said not enough nitrogen. Oh, that's wonderful. You know, last year we had so much nitrogen, all we got was tops and no bottoms. They also said too many weeds, which we don't have, overcrowding, which we don't have, insufficient water, which is not a problem because the ground is nice and moist down in there, as you can see right here. It's nice and moist. It's no problem. So I don't know. They claim that if you throw a little nitrogen on it, you know, they're a low feeding plant, especially when it comes to nitrogen. But maybe if you throw some nitrogen on there, they said it'll bring back the green and get them going. Amazing. From too much nitrogen to not enough. Oh, this is really bad. And the problem is, see, it's uniform. I planted 4 different kinds, I think I said it was. 4 or 5 different kinds of radishes, and they're all having the same problem. So it's something in the bed that's affecting everything. Well, you know, I think what I'm going to try to do is mix up some compost tea. Now, compost tea has the nitrogen, will have the nitrogen in it. You know, it'll boil out. I have some of this dirt left over here from the potatoes that I was going to use in the pots, but I got other stuff for that. I think I'll just put this in a bucket, stir it around, let it set for a couple days, and begin, you know, just kind of put it in the liquid in one of those pour containers, those watering cans, and just maybe put it on there, see what happens. I have nothing to lose at this point. I just cannot believe I'm having so many problems with radishes, year after year. It's a good thing I'm growing potatoes this year. Man alive, if I had a radish contest with old Buzz up there in Oregon, he'd win for sure. But this year, it's butt kicking time, boy. Well, it turns out I don't have to whip up some compost tea. I forgot that I had bought a bag of these watering can singles by Miracle Grow. And you just, you know, put one of these packs It's got 24, 8, and 16 is the mixture on it. I'm going to go ahead and pour it in there, and it should help solve our problem. Just 1 per gallon. I'm going to mix up a couple gallons, I guess. There's quite a few radishes there. I'm going to give it a good dosing. What have I got to lose, you know? If worse comes to worse, I'll just plant more okra. You know, on second thought, if these radishes don't grow, I'll just transplant all those rapeseed plants out of that pot in here. I got to do something about those. Man, I'll tell you what, I wish I'd have known. Scott, you should have told me those things grow like that. What's the matter for you? Well, hopefully that'll do it. Carburetor's clean. I put brand new fuel lines on. And I washed out the tank, got it nice and clean. Let's get some gas in it. Hit the old primer bulb and see if she'll start. Hopefully it will. And then I'll go ahead and adjust the carburetor with my little carburetor adjustment tool. By the way, when you adjust your carburetor on these weed eaters, you need to have this special tool. It's adjusted in these holes right here. This one close to the carburetor is the high-speed adjustment, while you've got the trigger pulled on the machine, and then this is the low-speed adjustment where you adjust your idle. So this particular tool has a knurled interior. I had to buy it on eBay, and they're not cheap. Some guys were selling it. I actually saw some people selling these things for $30, I think it was. Are you kidding? I found one, I think it was for $6 or $7, and even then I didn't want to spend that kind of money. But if you want a tool to adjust these weed eaters, you gotta have it. You know, because sometimes the old weed eater should just bog down, won't run at all. Well, a little bitty tweak of the upper, just a quarter of a turn at a time, by the way. You know, you start hitting it, after a while you start hitting the trigger and it goes boom, you know, boom. Well, what it means happening is not getting enough gas. So what you got to do is take your little old tool that I had to buy and just a quarter of a turn to the left, and man, they just took off and ran fine. $7 to do a quarter of a turn. Don't try to use needle nose and stuff like that. You're going to wind up boogering those, you'll booger up those adjustment knobs in there. So it's knurled on the inside. It's not hex or anything. It's just a knurl. It's a special tool. How nice of them to do that, huh? All right, let's continue on. There she is. I think we'll wrap this video up by making some pickles. I'm one of these guys, I do not like sour dill pickles. They drive me crazy. They're so sour, you know. To me, it's like I don't like hot food where it ruins the taste of the food, and I don't like really sour dill pickles. I mean, why not just go ahead and drink the vinegar? Why eat the pickle? That's the way I look at it. I like Polish pickles, and I've liked them ever since I had my first one many years ago. I used to buy them. There was an imported brand that would come in. The label was written in Polish, and it was just a plain jar with a plain white label, and everything was written in Polish. And I used to buy those, and oh God, they were so good. I still remember at the top it used to say Polski, and I said that was great. And they were so good. Then they stopped selling them. I couldn't find them anymore. And the other day I got thinking, I said, man, I could sure go for a Polish pickle. So I got on YouTube and I found this guy named Polcham. Polcham, I think is the way it's spelled, or the way it's pronounced. And he showed how to make Polish pickles. And I said, man, this is great. You know, it's real simple, real easy. And he's like me. He doesn't like them really sour and sour dill types. And it's an easy thing to do, and I'm going to make some. We're going to give it a try. Now, normally you use pickling cucumbers a little early in the season for them. However, wifey found these at Kroger the other day. They come out of Canada. They're called mini seedless cucumbers, so we're going to go ahead and use those. So let's get the cucumbers in the jar, and then we have to add a liter of water. I'm hoping a liter of water will cover the cucumbers once I get them in the jar. Then we need to throw in some garlic, which I've chopped up here, and then 1.5 teaspoons of salt. And then we're going to throw some dill in there, which is fresh dill that we got at the store. Wifey found that also. Baby dill, they call it. We're just going to throw it in there, stir everything all up, and then let it sit for 3 days. So let's start with the pickles. The pickles are in the jar, and I just added 2 liters of really warm water. Not hot, but not lukewarm. Really warm water. You know, I can stick my hand down in there. About maybe around bath water hot. That's best I can do. And now what we have to do is add it's a 1.5. Incidentally, 2 liters is about, I think I mentioned it already, is 34 ounces per liter. So there's about 68 ounces of warm water in there. 1.5 tablespoons of salt per liter, which means I got 3 tablespoons here. We put that in. Now we got our chopped up garlic. You can put as much garlic in as you want. I like a lot of garlic. Matter of fact, I'm going to add a little bit out of this jar in there before it's over. Go ahead and throw all this in there and just let it float around. This is fresh garlic, but I don't usually use fresh garlic, but I'm going to do it today because I want this to turn out. I hope this stuff really turns out well. And then I'm going to throw my dill in, and I'm going to put a little bit of pepper in because I want it to have a little bit of a peppery taste too. So let's get all that done. Alright, I'm going to add, maybe half a tablespoon of black pepper to it. You can use white. I was going to use white, but I decided to heck with it. I'll use black. And then, a package of dill, about this much. For a couple of liters, that should probably be plenty. Remember, I don't like a whole lot of sourness to my pickles. Now we're going to go ahead and just kind of stir that all around in there. That's all there is to it, really. Let me add a little bit more of this garlic, because I like a lot of garlic. A good garlic pickle, boy, there's just like nothing to it. This will be mostly juice, I guess. Boy, that smells so good. Like that. That should be plenty. I don't need to add a ton. I don't want to ruin it. But now we're just going to stir it all around completely, and then cover it up and let it set for 3 days. Just 3 days only. The longer you leave it in there, the more sour those pickles are going to get. Now next time, if it's not quite the way I want it when I'm done, then next time I'll add more dill or more garlic. This is just a first experiment, okay? And I'm using this little tea thing here. When we're done, we can, make tea, iced tea in it. If it works, if this really tastes the way I liked it, the way I like my dill pickles to work, we're going to make a big old batch. I'm going to give you one of those food-safe plastic buckets, and baby, we're going to go to town. Anyway, that's it for now. This is the end of the video. Until next time, this is John.